Hi there. Yeah, that just ends kind of quickly. I want it to fade, but oh well. Oh, let's try something here. Oh well, let's see if that works. In any event, anxiety, how to beat back anxiety. Now, what I'm going to tell you is based on my experience, and I don't want to say this. I'm going to mention traumaing. If you don't know how to do that, I I think you'll be okay anyway. In fact, I'm going to introduce a just in case you're wondering. I when I got into my um, okay, boom. All right. As you can see here, anxiety is right up in here. It is one of the, I think, default emotions of the fight flight. Regardless, that is where it lives. So if you're dealing with anxiety, that's a good sign you're in fight flight. Now, I when I went into mine, I know how to tremor, and I used it to heal my trauma. And in any event, what ended up happening is I was not regulating my tremor mechanism all that well. And so, because of that fact, I went from this blue area, this freeze area up at the top of the image, down, and I dropped right down into here into fight flight. And it is I don't know that these are listed necessarily. I would put anxiety above panic and fear. I'd switch the anxiety and the fear. And here I was, I rolled out of freeze right into anxiety that it's like, what the hey? I had no idea. And it was like 21/7. So I was getting a little bit of sleep every night. At that time in my life, because I'd had a nervous breakdown in Christmas Day 2011. It's a blog on my website. I was not, at that point in time, not employed because I was not employable. I had a nervous breakdown and I was way up here in this freeze. I didn't know what was going on. And as I tried to move into what later became my business, Raise Your Resilience here, which is over here in the corner. I hear your phone. One of the things so I was dealing with this, I was learning how to heal my trauma, and I was using the tool wrong. I was in a hurry, thought I knew the answers. I had a less than stellar TRE provider, but that's okay. So anyway, rolled out into this anxiety, and I was tremoring like 15 minutes every other day. And that was not possible. I'd been in meditation for 25 years. That was not possible either. I mean, think about that. You're nice and calm, and the brain's going to do what the brain does. Meditation's not about not having thoughts. It's about not being running away with them. So imagine what it's like when you're sitting with your anxiety. And so I had to look up, what the heck is anxiety? And the Mayo Clinic is usually pretty good about stuff like this, as is the University of Rochester in New York. They have a website that's part of their School of Medicine, equally good. And so look up anxiety, thinking I'm going to find something about, these different regions of the brain and too much cortisol and too much of this and not enough of this, so I could combat this. And it's kind of pull pull the rug out from underneath the experiences, because the Mayo website said that outside of pathological anxiety, which is real small in terms of numbers, anxiety is fear and worry. Okay, so let's look over here again. What do we find right here? Yeah, fear and worry. Oh, we always worry, don't we? Now, what is worry? That means we just keep ruminating stuff in our head, making up stories, and predicting. We predict a lot. I don't know about you, but I'm not very good at it. Otherwise, I'd be gambling a lot and winning and making money. So anyway, and I was just sitting there looking at it, that's it? There's two things about this. And so I thought, okay, I'm on my own when it comes to figuring out how I'm going to deal with this. And so yes, I mean, despite the fact that I was unemployed and unemployable because of my breakdown of 2011, I was still a firefighter EMT rescue operator and still pulling shifts. Nobody knew about my condition or the fact I was living in a tent. And so I've realized, wait a minute, I go to panic attacks as an EMT on a regular basis. So what do I do to help those people? First thing, breathing. If you have a state of anxiety, and mine was a state, oh God, but what do I do when I'm out in the field and I'm dealing with a client? First thing I need to do, because they're usually breathing really fast and not making any sense, trying to talk because, hey, somebody called 911 and okay, they're crazy making, and now they have a professional there who's trying to help them to come back to the planet Earth. And breathing. So let's talk about that tool first. There's a lot of models of breathing that are on the market. There's the 4-4-4-4, which is inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4. Okay, and sometimes that number gets used differently. You got to, and when you inhale, if I could use this same drawing again, so just imagine we're down here in social engagement. Every inhale takes me up into sympathetic. Every exhale brings me back. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And it's just in the micro sense. All right. So we want to be down here, but our autonomic nervous system has got us stuck up here in the sympathetic. I can't control my heart rate with anything that I do other than controlling my breathing. Sometimes I wonder about that. Anyway, so here's the breathing technique that I used that focuses on two things, not only just this parasympathetic version down here of the ventral vagal, but also the working with the nerves of the face, because this and this are connected by the vagus nerves. All right, same branch. And so we breathe in full. See how much you can make your belly come out. I know that might be difficult. Do as deep as you can. Now when you exhale, we exhale with like we're blowing out candles. You notice how long I did that? There's the trick. All right. The inhale is as full at count of 2. 1, 2, not in seconds or anything. And then make the exhale at least twice as long. Because now those parasympathetic nerves are being activated. I am bringing activation to, and this, the blowing out like I'm blowing out candles, and you'll notice I did this because I have a lot of candles on my cake. Now, if you want to leave your cheeks in when you do that, that's okay. You can add the hum at the end. All of that's bringing vibration because this and this are connected. So that what happens is when this face meets your face and your face is like this, like your boss, come into the office, and the boss has got this kind of look. What do? Boom, right up there in the fight flight. Because your face does not speak to me of social engagement, of warmth or joy or anything like that. It's danger, it's life threat, it's job threat, it's anger, it's the things of fight flight. All right. So how does my system react to that? Well, if I'm not well trained in social engagement, or if I'm stuck up here in fight flight, that's how I'm going to respond. Okay. So I'm trying to sound is not necessary. Do the breathing and the constriction of the mouth, the O-ring, we call this. So that's the first thing. Now, orienting. If you can, go outside. Now here, you can tell maybe it's a little gray. Otherwise, I'd say go outside, get some fresh air, get some sunshine. Get some sunshine. Just feel the warmth. Or go inside the house and feel it cool, depending. If the sun is 110 degrees, you may not want to do that. Go outside sometimes, because what I do is now we're branching into orienting. I get to go outside and look at something or feel something that is beautiful. The world I live in has little pockets of beauty all over, despite the fact it's a pretty violent world, right? Great blue herons eat little baby ducks. That's the world we live in. On the other hand, I've got a million pictures that slide up that I take with my camera that are all of the things, the leaves, the colors, the textures that are underneath my feet every day. Okay, I love that. The different colors and kinds of lichens and mosses and the little things that get stuck in them that are, those are the kind of things I take pictures of, because they remind me that even on a micro level, this world has got some amazing beauty to it. And so I go outside and I start to orient myself. Part of that is to take myself out of this negative mind loop. So that now we're starting to, the flowers are coming up. And if there's something magical about that for me. So whatever it is for you, a 67 GTO goes by and you go, oh my goodness, still to me the smell of the grease and the oil and the rubber and all that stuff, it's still something that is a very, and that's not episodic memory, they call that has all those emotional feels. Yeah, I dig that. Okay, you can do that as well. Part of orienting is when I'm in that anxiety state, I start to come back, because typically, like I said, it's predictive, right? And we're going to get to another tool for that. So but I want to go outside because and if you can, do it barefoot. If there's 6 inches of snow on the ground and it's 30 below zero, not recommended for very long at all, if at all. You know your own body, all right? I used to live in those conditions, and sometimes, don't expose your skin because it'll freeze within seconds. Grounding is part of get inside with your boots, just go outside, feel the temperature, become a part of or breathe into or relax into the outside world. That's mostly what the sense of grounding is. And then there is actually, I think, somewhat of an exchange of energies as my feet contact the earth. I like to go outside and put my bare feet on the grass because we don't hardly ever get snow here anyway. So you're grounding, All right. Now I want to orient myself, and it's pretty easy to orient yourself. I'm going to get rid of this picture for a minute. Now you'll see behind me. So if as an EMT, I used to be in a room and I used to say to, helping them breathe and ask them questions. So what's your name? What day is today? What's the date today? Orienting, coming back into this place, because I'm not going to take them outside and ground them. And so if their feet are bouncing a lot, I might ask them to just put their feet down. And then one of the things that okay, tell you what, and I might look around first and do this while they're breathing, find 3 orange things in this room. Okay, so they do. All right. And then what's the temperature of the air in this room? Are you cold enough? Are you warm enough? Gets them to be back into their body. So that's what I would do, as I'm starting to. And for me, this was something I did so many times a day because it would work for a while. But what it was doing was dialing down. I'm going to come back to the image here again. I'm up here and it's starting to dial down this nervous system reaction. Mind you, I already had a foundation of tremoring, and my tremoring got reduced to, which is also another deactivation process and a really, really important one. But if you don't know that, don't worry about that for now. Just do the breathing, the grounding, and then orient yourself to the room that you're in, to the place that you're in, to coming back to where you are now. And that's what orienting does, because oftentimes we forget where we are. That's a level of consciousness change. The other aspect of this is the worry, right? So we're dealing with the fear, and that's attendant on that, comes along with this fight flight. And so we want to dial that down. Even if it just gets us down to here, it's better than being up there closer to freeze. So we dial that down by the breathing, by the orienting, by the, if we want to make noise, that's fine. It helps sometimes. And then, knowing where I'm at, and then I get to deal with my worry, which is typically, if you just look up the word worry, it's usually over concern about the future or the past catching up with us. It's a mental rumination over and over and over. It's a negative feedback loop, I think might be another way to say that. And one of the tools I used for that worked really well was Byron Katie's 4 questions. And they are exceptional questions. And one of the things, the very first one is, do I know that this thought is true? So if I'm worrying, I am worrying about something, right? It just, that's the way it is. And so, okay. I'm having these thoughts, and that's what I want to deal with. I'm starting to calm the body down. Now I have to deal with the cognition here, because that's really where worry sits. And when worry is married together with a fear state of fight or flight, that's where anxiety marries up. It becomes the child. So 4 questions you're going to ask yourself about these things that you're thinking about. And I had one time we got behind on the rent when I was not employed. This might have been the same time, actually. Anyway, and the landlord said he wanted to come over and talk to us about it. And, that kind of like the boss saying, come here. And I almost had a panic attack. I probably did have a panic attack. I was still a little bit, boy, I was just being chewed alive. I was just dreading every frickin' second. And I was prognosticating the worst. He's going to kick us out. We're going to have no place to go. Got no money, that kind of thing. So this is, okay. First question. Those are my prognostics. Is it true? Are my thoughts that he's going to come over and kick us out? We got 30 days to leave. Is that true? Well, yeah, I don't know that. He hasn't even got here yet. So I don't know that that's true. All right. Even if my mind wants to argue with me, second question, can you absolutely know that that's true? Well, unless he said it to me, no. So, how do I react when I believe that thought? Okay, well, I have panic attacks. I have anxiety. I have great anxiety. All right. Does this mean I'm going to die? No. Ha, amazing. All right. So I can react. And okay, do I want to change the way I react? Yeah, okay. Fourth question is, who or what would you be without that thought? Yeah, that's pretty powerful, isn't it? So close your eyes and picture yourself in a situation, all right? If that thought that wasn't there, how would your situation look different? How would you be different? Because you might find that you might actually come up with a solution. But we usually worry about things and don't act. There's a great saying about worry, and that is don't. How's this go? If I can change the situation, why worry about it? Do whatever it is to change the situation. Makes sense, right? All right. Second part of that is, if I can't change the situation, what's the sense of worrying about it? My worry is not going to change it. There's nothing I can do to change it. So my worrying it's like chewing on a bitter food, hoping that somebody else is going to get sick or something. It's just like, no, spit it out. It's bad food. Or it's like moldy. It's poisonous. We know it's not good for us. It's going to upset our stomach, make us throw up. Don't eat it. Spit it out. So when the landlord comes over and sits down and says, okay, how can I work with you guys? What can we do to bridge this gap until you're working again? I damn near started crying. And what happened was it just like undercut this. It undercut the worry, which changed my anxiety. Just like that. So those are some of the things that you can do. The breathing, orienting, the grounding, and then if you're dealing with the ruminating thoughts, those 4 questions, you can look them up. Byron Katie's The Work. 4 questions, thework.com, Byron Katie. You'll either get the PDF or you'll just work and then repeatedly, I kid you not, do this. Here's what happens when you practice something. You get really good at it. It's the only way to get good at it. And as you practice that, your nervous system begins to downregulate. And then obviously, if you really want to get down into social engagement and stay there, tremoring is your best bet. It is phenomenal. So anyway, I just want to leave those tools with you for now. You know my name. You know where I work. That's always so difficult for me. You know where I work. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, and then you can get a hold of me. But in the meantime, these are your tools. Work with them. Repeat. As long as you have anxiety, do this stuff. And you will start to see change. Usually it'll make your day better. Maybe not significantly better, but you'll start to notice it. And it might take a while. It took me better part of a month. Literally, I'd have to go outside, walk around on the farm we were living on, and just breathe, orient, stop every once in a while. I knew where I was. I didn't have to orient a great deal, but I'd stop and I'd either smell the trees or I would feel the breeze, feel the sun, which is hard in the trees. But I'm in a sense, orienting, but I'm grounding myself, keeping track of what day it is, that kind of thing. So it was that type of experience for me. And still, uh, it finally then my sleep began to lengthen through the evening because I was sleeping. It was, I mean, I couldn't go to sleep because of the worry, and I couldn't, and then anxiety woke me up. Eventually, those hours started to expand, and I found I was able to tremor then again for longer periods of time more often. And that didn't happen in 2 days, let me tell you. I stuck with it until it started to lift, and then I still stuck with it. And I haven't had any anxiety. That was 24, so I'll say 10 years. Maybe a little longer, but a decade. And that feels great. Anyway, have yourselves a great day. I hope these work and I hope these help. If they do, leave a comment. If you have questions, leave a comment and I will answer. Bye.